All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show here today to discuss about Impact Wrestling, July 8th, 2021's episode, and going over the entire match card. This match card was okay, I guess, but it wasn't all that terrific of a show except for the ending on the contract signing for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship. So we're going to go through the match card first, and we'll go over the individual segments, as many as I can remember off the top of my head. I just got finished watching it off of Impact Plus, so let's get right into it. The first match on the card was Jake Something versus Brian Myers in a one-on-one match. The winner would have to tell the the loser would have to tell the winner that they are a pro wrestler or a professional. Dumbest fucking load of stipulation shit I've ever heard in my life. I mentioned this last week when I did the review, and I still think it's dumb after 1 week of thinking about it, and it's still fucking lame as hell. Jake Something actually wins the match. Brian Myers does not end up saying he's a professional. He ends up having Samuel, I guess is the fucking name, attack Jake Something from behind, and Brian Myers and Samuel attack him together and walk away without having to live up to the stipulation. The matchup itself was average at best. I give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. It wasn't all that great. It was just average, if anything. So nothing special here with this matchup one-on-one. The next match on the card was actually, I believe it was Diona Purrazzo defending the Knockouts Women's Championship in a matchup against Lady Frost. Lady Frost is a former WWE/AEW performer. She's now in Impact Wrestling, and never heard of this woman ever. Never noticed her either when I saw her come to the ring. She ends up losing this match in an okay matchup for the Knockouts Women's Championship. We then had Morrissey, formerly known as Big Cass, go up against 3 other men in a handicap match, and he beat the shit out of them. Their names were not even mentioned, I don't believe, and he kicked the shit out of all 3 of them and stacked them up and pinned them with his foot on top of the last guy's back to get the 1, 2, 3. So that was that. The next match on the card was the tag team match between Havoc and Rosemary versus Susan and Kimberley. Susan and Kimberley actually lose this match. This will eventually lead to later on in the night of Kimberley and Susan talking to James Mitchell to bring Susan back to being Sue Young, supposedly. That's what I believe is supposedly happening here for that segment. So we will see what happens next week. What else happened on this card? We had a matchup with a Fatal 4-Way match, and it was with all 4 tag teams that are going to be competing for the tag team titles at Slammiversary. It was officially announced by Tommy Dreamer. It will be a Fatal 4-Way with Violent by Design, the Good Brothers, Rich Swann, and Willie Mack, and then TJP and Halaba. They will be competing for the tag team titles at Slammiversary in a Fatal 4-Way. So what they decided to do was a Fatal 4-Way matchup with one partner being in for their team while the other sits out on the sidelines to watch the match as it unfolds. So it was TJP, Rich Swann, Carl Anderson and Diener competing in this matchup. Carl Anderson actually hit a diamond cutter type of maneuver against, I believe it was Diener, possibly. Yeah, I think it was Diener. He hit the diamond cutter and got the 1, 2, 3. Next was the contract signing. The contract signing was very interesting because earlier in the show, we get some footage by Don Callis. Well, actually, Sami Callihan gets arrested for some so-called assault he did to Don Callis, which clearly I'm pretty certain you all knew that Don Callis was setting this all up so Sami Callihan could get arrested for an assault charge, which was false pretenses. I actually think that next week's episode, we ought to have Don Callis getting arrested for false accusations, leaving him completely off television, taking him out of the picture, putting this match in a one-on-one situation, and Sami Callihan beating Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship. As much as that crazy that might sound to some people, I think that would be the best decision possible because it doesn't hurt Kenny Omega in any way storyline-wise on AEW. Because AEW is completely off from Impact Wrestling. They don't really intertwine all that much with each other, except for what Kenny Omega does on Impact. So, bottom line, Don Callis being off of television, being out of Slammiversary, and not being in the corner of Kenny Omega, I think is the best choice to go with here based on the situation. So, you guys let me know what you guys think about the comments I just made there. But I actually think Don Callis should be facing severe consequences for coming up with false accusations. And there's proof showing that he set the whole thing up for him to make an accusation that he was assaulted when he really wasn't. Really a load of shit. So, I think that is a definite cause of Don Callis being removed from Impact Wrestling for the World Championship at the pay-per-view, and it should be just a one-on-one match. Now, I mean, granted, you could get Don Callis off and still make Kenny Omega win. I mean, he's one of the best performers in professional wrestling right now in the world. So, I mean, it would still work either way. I mean, you could still have Kenny Omega win. It definitely would show Kenny Omega is one of the best. But at the end of the show, though, Kenny Omega didn't look so good. He got double arm pile drived onto his fucking head. And then he got powerbombed through a fucking table. And Sami Callihan signed the contract to be able to compete against Kenny Omega for the world title at Slammiversary. So, a little bit of bad shit there. Chris Sabin, speaking of him, he has a match with Moose at Slammiversary. And Chris Sabin was attacked backstage in the Johnny Swinger Palace. This gambling casino type gimmick that is so fucking lame. I think WWE Monday Night Raw is better than this shit. I mean, I like the concept of a casino, but being in a backstage arena in some stinky, dinky little studio arena that they do Impact Wrestling at, a little fucking stupid. So, and the whole thing is just idiotic. It's over the top cheesy shit. But, yeah, Chris Sabin's chilling. Johnny Swinger's out of the office for the night. And he wants to go ahead and play a little cards and actually gamble. And Moose comes from behind and actually beats the shit out of him. So he's pretty much showing his dominance and proving that he's going to be the guy that actually should be... he's going to recognize him as a wrestling god in Impact Wrestling. Okay. Moose, I got one thing to tell you. You need to stop sounding like JBL, man. You sound a little fucking stupid. But whatever. I honestly would like to see Moose become world champion at Bound for Glory. That's why I'm actually pushing for the idea of Sami Callihan winning the world title at Slammiversary, giving Sami Callihan a couple of months of actually doing some good stuff with the championship. I mean, you could have him have a lot of title defenses under his belt leading into Bound for Glory between now and October. That gives him 3 months of title reign. You make him defend the title and make him be like one of those fighting champions that are willing to defend the title more often than not. If you want to really get him over and get him into a really good title defense and make him look like he's some undefeatable champion, and then Moose comes out of nowhere and he wins the title at Bound for Glory, I think that would be kind of cool. Have have Moose on this winning streak and have Sami Callihan having multiple title defenses under his belt leading into Bound for Glory, I think would lead to a really good altercation over the world championship at Bound for Glory. I think that would be a great idea. It definitely would help out Impact Wrestling in my mind, at least bringing it to a main event type status match between these two guys. I think they're both well deserving to be the main event of Impact Wrestling's biggest pay-per-view of the year, which is Bound for Glory. That's their version of WrestleMania. So I think that would be probably the best bet for them to go with, is Moose versus Sami Callihan for the World Championship. I mean, they can go with Kenny Omega versus Moose, but you got two heels going at it for the world title. They've already done this. I think if you take Kenny Omega off of Impact Wrestling, call it quits. It's not really doing a whole lot of anything. I don't think Kenny Omega needs to be world champion in Impact Wrestling. He's done a good job there. He's done everything he needs to do there. But, I mean, if they want to continue with it, that's fine. I'm not going to bitch or moan about it, but I think Sami Callihan's more deserving right now. He's actually should be the face of this fucking company. He's done a lot. Moose is the other guy that needs to take the role of the heel character, the head heel in Impact Wrestling, and be a world champion as well, and bring these two guys head-to-head at Bound for Glory. That is what I feel should happen. And would probably be the best decision for them to do. But either way, like I said, I'm not going to complain if Kenny Omega retains the championship, because Kenny Omega is one of the best, and he brings a lot to the table. But for Impact Wrestling, I mean, they're not a big, well-known company, and they want to build new stars. These are the two guys you want to center the company around, to be honest. Moose is yet to have a real world championship reign anywhere in any promotion. This guy is a trooper, in my opinion, because he has spent many years in the professional wrestling world, and he was in Ring of Honor and Impact Wrestling for all these years, and he is yet to win the World Heavyweight Championship, competing in multiple World Championship opportunities and not once winning the damn title, which I think is a load of bullshit. Moose is a well-deserving performer. He's kept his lifestyle very clean as of late in the last 10 years. I haven't heard anything bad happen with the guy. He hasn't had any backstage incidents or problems with the promotion that he works for. None of that stuff. The guy has been living a straight arrow since that incident he had many years back of an altercation he had with a woman. I think it was a girlfriend or something like that. And things went bad with him, but he seems like he's learned from his mistakes, probably learned to control his anger and gotten better control and matured more. I think this had a lot to do more with maturity than anything else. So I think Moose is ready. I think they need to put the pack on his back and let him lead the troops, if you want to put it that way, and just give him the role of a main eventer and let him be the leader of that roster. I think he's got the capabilities of doing it. It's just they got to have the trust in him to do it. That's pretty much it. But I would like to see Sami Callihan win that world title. Most definitely, especially against a guy like Kenny Omega. Really, I do. What else happened? Not much else happened on the show. Before that Fatal 4-Way tag team, or Fatal 4-Way matchup took place, Rich Swann and Willie Mack were actually requesting Violent by Design. I was figuring we were going to see an 8-man tag team matchup with the TJP and Follow Ba and the Rich Swann and fucking Willie Mack against Violent by Design in an 8-man tag team matchup to determine whether or not those two tag teams would get a shot for the tag titles. And if they were to win, they would actually get a shot, and it would be a triple threat tag team matchup. And that's what I was figuring was going to happen until the Good Brothers came into the picture. And that was pretty much it. There might be one matchup I'm forgetting about. I got this weird feeling I forgot one other match that was on the card. But if anything, I don't think it was that big of a match. It's just some minor matchup that I'm just forgetting about. But anyway, guys, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you liked this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. And leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. I thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed that earlier video I uploaded on the channel today about Aleister Black / Malachi Black moving into AEW and managing to overcome the 90-day non-compete clause and be able to break that because of WWE's, way of conducting business, which is pretty shitty business, and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. So, anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these two videos that I've uploaded today, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow for NXT. You guys have a great night, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.